Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is the Earth Witch and today's Earth Day, so happy Earth Day. And in honor of Earth Day, I just want to take you around my small garden space and do like an early season tour, especially as like everything is popping up in the garden right now. And yeah, so let's just get into it. Let's get started. So my garden's kind of all over my yard. Everything isn't exactly in one spot. So this is my herb box. Honestly, there's only like 3 herbs in here right now, and all I can do is harvest like 2 of them. So on this side here is my rosemary bushes. I have two rosemary bushes. They're pretty big and they grow really fast and they smell really good. I'm gonna be making like some smudge sticks from them. I'm gonna cut them back a little bit on the edges just so it can grow even more. The more you cut it, the more it will grow. Here in the middle is parsley that reseeded itself from last summer. Last summer I had some parsley in here. It went to seed and it just spread it throughout the whole box. I tried to contain it and pull out the ones that are like on the sides and stuff and just leave the middle parsley. So I'm so excited for that to grow and get really big. Then lastly in this box over here is my lemon thyme. Now when I first started gardening like 3 years ago, I cut this back all the way to the bottom, and like I regret it all the time because I know it would be even bigger and even more lush, and that's because I thought that it wouldn't survive in my climate during the winter, but it definitely did. It definitely does. I've had it for 2 years now. The one over there is a little funky. I don't know why, but she's a little long. I also recently added some seeds in here to try to grow like some lavender and some oregano, but I don't know how it's going to do. I think I'm gonna just buy some already started plants of lavender and put that in because I heard that's kind of hard to start from seed, but I have grown oregano from seed before, so I'm not really worried about the oregano and stuff. I also recently just added like a bunch of worms to this as well. Since it is off the ground, there's no way for worms to hang out in here and stuff, so I added some worms and I just hope they survived. Moving on to my little porch area, to my backyard, I have this really long garden box full of calendula. I even took some out and put them in another spot in my garden, which I'll show you in a bit. And this is still really full. It's grown a lot, but on the package it says calendula doesn't mind crowding, so I'm just gonna leave it alone and see how it does. Also up here I have a bay leaf tree that has grown so much. They said these grow really slowly, but since I've had it here maybe like a month, all of this up top, the light green, is new growth. All the dark green is older growth, but it's an evergreen, which is so exciting because evergreens mean that it stays green all year long and it doesn't lose its leaves. So I'm really excited to use this in food as well as my witchcraft. You know, bay leaves are great for making wishes and manifesting, quick manifestation spells and stuff like that. So I'm excited for her to get huge and we're just gonna work together so well. Down here I have some Echinacea, but honestly nothing has popped up. It's been in here for over a month, nothing's happened, so I'm just gonna wait till it's a little warmer out. Maybe it doesn't like these cool early spring temperatures, so I'm gonna wait till it's a little warmer out, then I will put some more seeds in there or something. So here's another spot in my garden where I have a bunch of things growing. This is at the back of my house now. It's funny, I showed you the garden boxes first, like the other side of the garden, but I honestly just have stuff kind of growing a little bit everywhere. So let's get a little closer. In this pot here, I have banana pepper seeds in there. Nothing has come up yet. I just think it's a little too cold for them, but I have high hopes because some other peppers that I planted around the same time have popped up and out of the pots. So I think the banana peppers is just getting off to a slow start. Moving over to this section, the lighting's really bad. It is early morning and I just really wanted to get this done so I can edit it and get it up. But over here I have raspberries. I just put these in maybe like a month or so ago. I really wanted to grow fruit and I was going to wait until we moved, but why do that when I can start experimenting with it now while we're still here? So I put in this raspberry vine. Honestly, it is such a slow grower. It was over here for like maybe 2 months before it started putting off those leaves up top, but now that it has started growing, it is kind of taken off a little bit, so I'm really excited to see how that does. Right here in the middle is where I moved some of that calendula, the seedlings that I thinned out. I put them in here just to see if they would take, what they would do. They're actually doing really well. They lost all the bottom leaves, they yellowed and came off, but I guess that was just from moving. But they have taken, and you know that because the leaves get firm again. Once you take something out, it kind of gets limp, and then once they adjust it back to like a new space, the leaves will turn firm again. So I'm going to see how the calendula does there, whether it likes to be in ground or whether it likes to be in a container better. I'm just really experimenting with the garden, which is always so much fun. Learn what's best for you. Then lastly here is a blueberry bush. I just put this in as well this year, and honestly, like, the leaves have popped up so freaking fast, so I think it's going to be a pretty quick grower, and hopefully I'll have fruit off of it in no time, like a year or two. So these are the other peppers I was talking about that have popped up in the pot. Zoom in a little bit, you can see a couple of them here. One here, one there, one here, one there, maybe. I just threw a bunch of seeds in the pot just to see whether they would take, especially this early in spring, and they have. And so, yeah, hopefully they will grow up nice, strong, and delicious. These are the jalapeno peppers. The next thing I have in this yard is this little greenhouse here. It doesn't really have much in it. Just up top I have some sunflower seeds. They haven't done anything, and honestly, if they don't do anything, it's because I suck at watering stuff inside of there. It needs to be watered more frequently because it's hotter in there, and yeah, so no high expectations for that, to be honest. Then lastly, at the back of my house, I have this here, which is a kiddie pool, and it is full of watermelon seeds. You see them? Do you see them? There's two here, two over here, one right there. I put them like in the corners and distance them out from each other, and it's really just going to be survival of the fittest. Whichever one survives and gives me watermelons, then great. I also put some watermelon poppies in there, which you won't be able to see because poppy seedlings are super small. But I'm really excited for all the poppies I'm growing. I'm growing 3 different types of poppies right now. So let's move on to the big boxes and stuff, and yeah. So I wanted to start in this first box. This is my first garden box, and then I just recently added the second one, which there's a video up on my channel about that. And yeah, I just want to show you exactly what I'm growing. First, over here are some lettuces. I'm really excited. I've grown lettuce before, but I just love salad in general, so I'm just waiting for them to get a little bit bigger, and then I'm gonna just be harvesting the biggest leaves and stuff, and using that for my salad, and then just letting it continue to grow back until it goes to seed eventually. Here in the middle is a huge parsley plant that I put a bunch of parsley seeds in here, grew them through the winter, and then harvested them because I didn't want them to go to seed and then just like infect this box with seeds. And I was also scared they wouldn't survive, but they did survive, and that's because it snowed, so that's why I was scared it wouldn't survive. It doesn't really snow here, it's quite warm. but it survived, and this was a baby one that survived me picking out all the other ones, and I was like, well, it might die, it might not, I guess we'll see. And it has grown huge. Now right under it, you won't be able to see, are some spinach plants. All the spinach seed didn't really come up, but the ones that did are like hiding under this parsley here. There's one here, and then there's one right there. So the spinach is kind of doing its own thing right now, but I mean, it's fine. And lastly on this side is this big beauty. This is my arugula. Let me try to get you in close. It has gone to seed, as you can see here. All these little seed pods. It's gone to seed. And that is because I let it go to seed so that I can collect them and have even more arugula seeds. And I really wanted to experiment with collecting seeds this year from my own food that I've grown for myself, so that it'll just be like the circle of life, you know. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of seeds all the time if you're not really picky like me about like variety and stuff. I just want to be able to grow my own food. I don't really care currently for the different varieties of everything that you can grow in the garden. Okay, so if we move behind the spinach, you can see right here is a little kale plant. There's 3 of them back there. I hear that kale does really good pretty much like no matter the weather. It can do really good in the cold. It does alright during the summer, but it will survive the summer, and then you can eat it again the next winter and stuff, and just keep it around and keep eating off of it. So that's why I put some kales just like directly in the middle of this bed. I tried last year twice to grow kale and it didn't work, and this time it's actually working. It's happening. I have 3 of them about that same size. And so I'm excited to get some kale out of this. This side of the bed, in here I have some broccoli seedlings. There's one right here. There's also one further over, but it's pretty small. I grew some broccoli. I recently cut it out. I had right here, let me scooch you over. Right here where it says squash, I had red cabbage, but cabbage worms were going ham in it, and I was like, it's probably not going to form a head because all these cabbage worms, and so I just got rid of it. I'll try again later. And so right now I just put in, yesterday I just put in some squash seeds in this spot to see if I can get some squash. That'd be cool. We eat quite a bit of squash. I was gonna do like eggplant or something, but we eat more squash than eggplant, so put some squash in there. Nothing's come up. It's just been a day. The last thing in this box are my potatoes. Potatoes are so easy to grow. I was so happy with them last year. So I filled up pretty much this whole side with like mini golden potatoes. And I love potato leaves. They're so pretty. They come in, when they come in, they don't look like little regular seedlings of anything, so you know exactly what they look like. So there's one right here. This is a baby potato plant, and that's exactly how it came out of the ground. So it's not mistakable for just regular like grass seeds and stuff like that, weed seeds. So that is this box. Currently I am growing, besides arugula, currently I am growing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things in this little 4x4 box. No, it's not a 4x4. Maybe it's a 5x5. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've put this box together. I don't remember how big it is, but it's a pretty small space. Honestly, if I planned it out better, I could get even more goods and stuff in here, but I'm still experimenting and working with what I have and working my spaces. I'm honestly going to pull everything out at the end of the season and throw in a bunch of compost, raise that soil level back up, and just leave it alone for the winter. Throw some cardboard on top, kill any seeds that end up in there, and just chill it out, give it a break before the next time I plant something in it. This is the second box, the newest box that I built. I have wind chimes there because wind chimes just bring good vibes, you know. And these sticks that are sticking up here are going to be trellises for my tomato plants. At least I'm going to try and see how it does as a trellis for the tomato plant. It's screwed in at the bottom with like 2 screws or so, and it's pretty stable, so we'll see how it does as a trellis. But let's get in there so I can show you the little things that are coming up. If I start on this side of the box, right here in the middle are my Nasturtiums. They're just regular, like yellow, orange, red Nasturtiums that I had last year. I'm really excited because Nasturtiums are beautiful, and you can also put them in your salads and stuff to add a little bit of flavor. I had to take you off the stand to see everything in here. Right next to those Nasturtiums, there is a little bean sprout that popped up. I don't know how well it's going to do because it's looking a little worse for wear. It looks like something really chewed on it before it even got to come up. So we'll see how that goes. Then right next to that are little tomato seedlings. So it's a beefsteak tomato seedling. All these little purple flowers in here are from my wisteria tree. Vine actually, but the vine's huge. It's pretty much a tree. Over here are some more little seedlings. These are cherry tomato seedlings that popped up. I always put 2 seeds per hole, and so far the germination is still really good, but still, just in case one doesn't come up, another one could possibly come up. Right here in the middle are green onions, and I just cut them back quite heavily, so they're really trying to grow back and adjust, but they're doing really good, and they're delicious and pretty much everything. I'm going to be planting some more onions actually today. I want to take out a lot of that arugula that aren't producing seeds as fast as some of the other ones. I'm going to pull them up and then start planting some onions. Bulb onions, like red onions, yellow onions, white onions, stuff like that. So now we're on this side of the box. Down here you probably won't be able to see much, but there's actually little basil seedlings coming up. Oh, there's one right there above my finger, little basil seedling. They're really tiny. There's 2 of them. So I'm excited for that. I love growing basil. It's super easy. I dried like a shit ton of it last year. Basil's really good for pretty much everything in witchcraft. And then over here I have a little cilantro patch. So as I said, I usually put 2 seeds in each hole, and each hole has at least 4 or 5 different plants coming up in them. And so I'm going to start thinning those out, but they are starting to form their true leaves, which is super exciting. I'm gonna have a shit ton of cilantro, and honestly cilantro is like my favorite herb. Okay, so on this side of the box there are some marigolds. Honestly, I don't think any of them have come up yet except one, which is right here, and I don't know about it. So I'm probably going to plant some more marigold seeds if nothing comes up in the next couple of weeks. It might be too cold for them to germinate right now, but also I don't want them to rot in the ground. Right next to the marigold is another little bean plant with no leaves on it, so I'll see how that does. However, right next to that is another beefsteak tomato seedlings. One of them is starting to form its true leaves, which is exciting. I can't wait to grow some tomatoes. Lastly, right under my wind chimes are bean plants that actually put out some leaves, so that's exciting. These are all bush bean plants, so I'm not going to have to trellis them. They're just going to bush out. Oh, so pretty. Love it. Now lastly, for this space right below us is my poppies. So to the left, these poppies are California poppies. As you can see, my arugula's kind of taken over one of them. Arugula's fallen over. There's one that has popped up. That's the first one that popped up. Like, he was ready to go. and that is what poppy seedlings look like when they come up. So I definitely have quite a few in here that have popped up, and I'm super excited. I love poppies. They're my favorite flower, so I can't wait to really get into some different varieties of poppies. And then this one over here is the Iceland Poppy. There are a couple that popped up. I'm probably going to throw some more seeds in there just to even it out a little bit. But they're really pretty too. The last thing in my garden is my compost, which sits over there. So I'm just talk to you about that a little bit, then we'll be done. This right here is my compost bin. My compost mainly is dried leaves from the fall. I don't pick up the leaves until fall is over with and until it's going into spring, so that they are starting to break down already. And so I have a bunch of dried leaves in here. Also have grass. Have a bunch of dried leaves in here. Also have grass clippings in here, and that is brown and green material. I also put the scraps from food or from the garden in here as well, and that is only fruits and vegetables. Never going to put dairy or meat or anything in here. If you want to know about composting, there's a lot online. It's actually very simple and easy. But it's made out of little pallets that we just drilled together, a couple of pieces of wood here, so it doesn't all fall out. And then I have a huge tarp on top of it just to hold in the heat so that it can compost faster. Now, compost will start to stink, and then you can just turn it and hopefully that'll dissipate the smell a little bit. And also this tarp holds in the smell a lot. Very simple. Keep down the tarp with some bricks on it. And that's it. It's nothing really fancy. I don't care about fancy. I just like practical and whether it will work or not. I left my tripod over there. I was going to use it, but I decided against it once I had to get really close to everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Happy Earth Day. Please check out my website if you are interested in spiritual services and stuff. Also my Patreon, where you can join me for extra videos and content over there, and just more personal style spirituality videos. And there she goes. She's just gonna take a pee on camera. I forgot to show you my roses, but I have pictures of them up. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one when everything is like exploding. It'll probably be a couple of weeks and this garden will be overflowed, and I'll be pruning and doing what, who knows what to it. So hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, y'all. Peace out.